If you are familiar with the law of assumption, you might have heard about Abdullah. Who is he? Why did his name once become popular among the manifestation community? What exactly did he teach, and how effective were his lessons? We are going to learn all of this in today's video. Even if you know about him, just listen to this because it will show you a blind spot that you are missing during your manifestation journey. So, Abdullah was an Ethiopian rabbi. He was a mystical guru, and he taught Neville Goddard about this spiritual law. He is the teacher of your teacher. When you hear this story, you may feel how rude Abdullah was to Neville before Neville consciously manifested for the first time. But it is not like that. There is a very important point in this whole episode that many of you miss when manifesting your desire. Now, let's talk about the story, the first ever success story of conscious application of the law of assumption by Neville Goddard. It all started in 1933, when there was a Great Depression in the United States. Millions were unemployed, and people were sleeping in parks and tunnels. To get even a cup of coffee and a piece of bread, you had to stand in the long lines. At those times, Neville Goddard used to be a dancer, and when people were unemployed and didn't have enough money for even food and shelter, nobody was interested in watching a dance show. Neville Goddard was very poor. He didn't have any job or money, and he was living in a basement. Across the street was a fantastic house where this man named Abdullah lived. He was Neville's friend, and one day in late October, Neville says to Abdullah that he came from Barbados 12 years ago. And during these 12 years he never had any desire to go back. But now he has a deep desire, a burning desire, to go back to Barbados. But he doesn't have money. Can you notice that lack of money was Neville Goddard's limitation? But Abdullah gave him a very strange reply. He told Neville that you are in Barbados. Neville got confused and asked, "What? I am in Barbados." Abdullah said, "Of course you are. You see Barbados, and you see America from Barbados. You can smell the tropical land of Barbados. You see the little homes. In Barbados, you simply sleep tonight." After listening to it, just like when you heard about the law for the first time, Neville thought, "What? Is he insane? I am sitting in front of him. Did he drink too much?" But he didn't pass his judgments, and that night, in his imagination, he slept as if he is in Barbados. He imagined himself in his family's home, 2,000 miles away from America. He performed this imaginary act, but nothing happened in his external reality. After a week of observing no movement, he went to Abdullah and started to repeat his limitation. He says, "Ab, nothing happened." Instead of joy at being in Barbados and feeling the state of a wish fulfilled, Neville complained about it to Abdullah. But Abdullah turned away, showed his back, went to his room, and slammed the door in Neville's face. Now, if someone did this to you, you would burst out in anger and think it was rude. Neville tried to discuss this issue, but there was no response, apart from slamming the door in his face. If you understand living in the state of wish fulfillment, you will know why he didn't discuss anything with Neville Goddard. Let me clarify this for you. In the imaginary act, Neville slept in his family home in Barbados. Now how can he discuss that he is going to Barbados when he is already in Barbados? If he is faithful to his assumption, how can he discuss that? He is already there. Now that the month of December has come, he has no money to buy a ticket to Barbados. The last ship that would go to Barbados before the new year was on the 6th of December, and it was already the 4th of December. When he went to his door, he saw an envelope from his brother Victor. In the letter, he asked Neville to come to Barbados for Christmas. After so many years, all of the Goddard siblings are there in Barbados, in their family home. Only Neville is missing. Victor is aware that Neville is unemployed, so he cannot make an excuse. Also, Victor enclosed $50 from which he can buy clothes, and instructed him that he has talked to the shipping company, and they will hand over the ticket to Barbados that he can collect from the shipping company. After reading this, Neville was surprised and shocked. He ran to the shipping company with this letter and showed it to them. They said they would give him the ticket, but there were no first-class tickets available. Although Neville can use the first-class facility, he has to sleep in the third class until the ship lands on an island named St. Thomas, where one seat in first class will get empty and Neville can then use the first-class compartment. Neville agreed and went to see his friend Abdullah. He was overjoyed and told Abdullah that he had received the tickets and that he was going in third class. But Abdullah said to him, "Why are you saying this? Who told you that you were going to Barbados? Who told you were going from the third class? You went to Barbados, and you went first class." Consider how strict Abdullah was about living to the end. Many of us will be like, now that we have the ticket, we are going there. However, because it is not the end, anything can go wrong. That's why you have to persist in the assumption until it hardens into fact. On December 6th, Neville boarded the ship, and he was informed that someone had cancelled their ticket at the last moment. And now he is going first class. Neville Goddard went first class to Barbados. You might have noticed that Abdullah was rude, but he was not rude. He only reminded him to stay in the state of wish fulfillment. As soon as you feel that you desire something, just feel the state of wish fulfillment. Feel as if you already have it and are now complete. I want to ask you, how many times today have you reminded yourself that nothing is happening or you don't have what you desire? Neville began his imaginal act in the last week of October, and it got manifested in the middle of December, when he consciously used the law for the first time. This does not mean that it will take the same amount of time for you. It does not mean that it will happen early or late. The only thing that is expected of you and that matters is that you perform your imaginal act and live in the state of having your wishes fulfilled. Don't speculate on how or when it will occur because it has already occurred. You are in Barbados. So, I hope this story inspired you and you learned something wonderful from it. Subscribe because I post new videos regularly. I will meet you with another golden nugget. Happy manifesting.